welcome to the H-Town Spin. This is your host, John Floyd, and sitting in today is producer Joel.
Yay, I'm the co-host.
And yes, he's doing me a favor. He's really not feeling very well and everything, so I definitely am very appreciative that he is doing this favor for me. I appreciate it.
I probably have COVID for like the 19th time already.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm kidding. I've been tested like 4 times. I'm fine for right now.
Okay, so for all my audience members, let's bow our head and say a quick prayer for producer Joel that he doesn't have anything serious going on.
Oh, you want me to pray?
No.
Okay.
Okay, that was it. We just did like a moment of silence.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, okay.
So
I didn't know what to do after that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So typically we do a podcast every Thursday, but because of the Democratic National Convention and, they did 4 days, we are doing a special Sunday edition. We are actually doing this in the afternoon. It's a beautiful, bright, hot, steamy, muggy day in Houston, Texas, just to let you guys know. But we are in air-conditioned comfort, which is always good. Got my water, got my truly hard lemonade, got that going on, and Joel's got his
Iced tea.
Iced tea. There you go. So we're
I wish it had liquor in it, but it's just iced tea.
We're all good. You know what? Liquor might actually help you with whatever you're feeling. Like some brandy.
Oh, I'm gonna have to spray that mic now.
Some brandy or something like that. Yeah, please. So, guys, as I mentioned earlier, we postponed the Thursday show until today because of the Democratic National Convention. So I'm sure we have a lot of listeners that actually paid attention to it.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Look, I'm going to be honest. I didn't want to watch all of that. I'm voting for Joe Biden. I didn't care if he picked RuPaul to be his vice president. I didn't care if he picked one of the Kardashians to be his vice president. I didn't care. I'm not voting for Trump. That's all there is to it. I have voted now. I'm going to be honest with my political leanings. I have voted Republican once or twice. I have voted Democrat once or twice. And I'm one of those people, the best man or woman for the job. That's what I believe. Well, I want to hear what you have to say about what you have to say, but I believe in the best person for the job. So,
my motto, right, Joel, when it comes to the election, and I tell people this all the time. I'm like, just vote for the person that you think's not going to fuck you the hardest.
Exactly. It's
really that simple.
I have made this quite clear, and I've made this quite clear in my own community, whether that be with other black people or the gay people. I don't care if you're a Republican. I really don't care. If that's what you feel, then that's fine. But I'm going to tell you right now. And I have told this I'm not going to say Republicans. If you are a Trump supporter, I specifically said Trump supporter. If you are a Trump supporter, you and I cannot be friends.
Yeah.
We cannot be friends because your politics lean towards things that are not in my wheelhouse. And in fact, from talking to other Republicans, not in their wheelhouse either. So if you are a Trump supporter, you and I can't be friends.
Right.
That's all there is to it. That includes people in the black community and the gay community, because I know people in the gay community who are Trump supporters, and I know people in the black community who are Trump supporters. But we can't be friends. And you know why we can't be friends. You have seen your leader-in-chief, who is not much of a leader.
I call him the pretender in office. Honestly.
I call him a reality star who's a major baby.
Right.
He's just the biggest baby in office. And I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say this out loud. If I have to deal with 4 more years of this, I've already started looking at places in Costa Rica and Belize because I can't live in this country.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So if you want to go in with me and maybe opening up some kind of tour business or something in one of those countries.
We can discuss that off air, honestly. Because I've told very close people to me that when I retire, if I can be somewhere tropical and living in like a 1-room hut I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can wake up and and hear the waves of the ocean crashing
Mm-hmm.
onto the beach and everything, I'm happy.
You know, I'd like to open a little bar, just a little hole in the wall bar, because the best bars are,
A little tiki bar.
yes, little hole in the walls, off the beaten path.
Yep.
Mostly for the locals, but for a few of those tourists that want to come down, that's fine. And just live in a nice little place that I don't need much, where I can still do my podcast and have Wi-Fi. That's it. I don't really need much of anything else.
Those would be facts, guys.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put it up not only on your show but on my show as well. If you want to come in with me, and if we have to do this another 4 years, you know where to go.
Yep.
The H-Town Spin or that Little Gay Talk Show.
Charter a boat and let's just start
I've already
sailing.
looked into. By the way, John, I've already looked into all the things that you need to do to become an expat in those countries. It's super easy.
Okay.
Super easy.
We'll discuss all that after off the off air.
Well, I'm trying to give you those extra minutes because
I got you. Well, we have a lot to cover.
You do have a lot to cover, but I wanted to fill in a few extra minutes simply
But
because.
I appreciate you starting the show off with the opinion, because I'm also of the same opinion. But let me give.
But let's hear everything that and like I said, I didn't watch because I already know where I'm pretty much solid. I don't need to watch all the pomp and circumstance.
And guys, just so you know, for the listeners out there, the show's not going to be a repeat of the Democratic Convention. But what we're going to do is we're going to take an hour or so, and we're going to go over the key points in the
53 minutes
exactly, or however long. But I mean, it's not going to be one of these anti-Republican and stuff like that.
Oh, speaking of which, are you going to watch the RNC convention next week?
I am, but I will not be able on this show to give the same amount of coverage or dedicate a show to the RNC, because starting next Thursday and then that next Monday, I have two very special guests that I had booked well before the Republican convention and the Democratic convention. It just so happens that
Well, you know what? We could talk about that because you should
Democratic-
probably do one.
I will.
On a
But
Sunday.
after, I mean, we could do a special.
You can do a special on a Sunday.
We could do a special Sunday show again, and we can cover the points of the Republican convention. We can definitely do that. I have not scheduled it, but I will.
I might. You know what? I might watch that simply because I need some comedy. I've run out of comedy shows
Gotcha.
to watch, so I need a little bit of comedy. I need to see who's actually going to speak. I need to know which celebrities. Like I said, I don't have no problem with celebrities being Republicans. I have no problem with that, but I just want to see which celebrities who are Trump supporters I will not be supporting.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
So go ahead, John.
It'll be interesting. So we're going to treat this just like we do with Thursday's show. Let me give you the numbers of COVID-19 throughout the country and here in Harris County, or in Texas, rather. So in Texas right now, we have 589,349 cases. That's as of today. So probably in the next 2 or 3 days, we're going to hit 600,000 cases, right, in Texas. In Harris County, we have almost 100,000. We have 96,658. That's a lot, guys, for just our 14 or 17 member counties and stuff like that. So just to keep you guys updated, this is where we are in Texas and in Harris County with the COVID-19 numbers. But I do want to delve into...
do you have number of deaths?
I do not have number of deaths. I can pull that up, but I do not have it as of right now. Possibly by the end of the show, I can, we can go back and we can look at that. But I do want to delve in because Joel was so gracious in jumping into, the opinion on the Democratic National Convention and everything. I did watch all 4 days. I took notes and wrote down, the speakers and like the highlights of what they said and stuff like that. So in day one, the theme of day one was "We the People." And I wrote that down, and I thought that was probably the most important theme of the convention. If there was a theme of the Democratic National Convention, it was "We the People," and it's something that I think Republicans and Democrats have conveniently forgot, that they don't work for the big oil companies and the oil and gas and the banking industry. They don't work. They work for the people. We the people, and it's in the Constitution. It's the beginning of the Constitution. We the people, and I thought it was just really, really poignant that they used that as their opening theme of the convention. And then we had a few great speakers. Michelle Obama on day one probably stole the convention speech-wise until Barack Obama on Wednesday gave his speech and stuff like that.
Well, it's the Obamas. I mean,
Exactly. And honestly, I think Michelle Obama is a better speech giver than Barack.
Well, we'll find out when Melania gives her speech, and we'll see. And we'll see how much better.
Do you want comedy? Because Melania stole Michelle.
Yeah. That's why. That's the joke I was making. So that was the exact joke that I was making. We'll wait until Melania. I know I missed the speech, so I'm sure Melania will give the exact same speech, but we're probably with less passion.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
But there was one. I guess the bigger, not to overshadow Michelle Obama, but I guess the bigger person that was on day one was Christian Urquiza. And if you don't know who Kristen Urquiza is, her father died, I think he was 65, from COVID-19. He was a loyal Trump supporter and stuff like that. He had no pre-existing conditions, according to her. He was fine. When Trump gets on or was going through, you can use Lysol or Clorox or whatever. And, he was downplaying the COVID. He went out to a karaoke bar with some friends. He caught COVID-19, ended up in the hospital, and he ended up dying. And her telling of that story was very, 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 very passionate. And she was like, her family or her dad, her family and everything were major Trump supporters. She's like, no more. She was like, basically, I don't want to say she didn't say that Trump did it, but she said that her father listened to Trump when Trump was downplaying the effects of COVID and that it's not a big deal and blah, 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 blah. And her father ended up dying from it. And it was very heartbreaking. I mean, I had tears in my eyes watching it because, you hear this child. I mean, she's probably in her mid-20s. And she said she was very close to her father. She had a really great relationship. And then, now that man that, according to her, had no pre-existing conditions, she said Trump was the pre-existing condition. And it's just heartbreaking that, that you have people that are listening to the politicians downplay it, and then these people are getting sick and, possibly dying because of it. So I thought that was, aside from Michelle Obama, I thought those two speakers were like the big highlights of day one on that. So, but like I said, I mean, the thing with the whole Democratic convention, it was the first time that any convention of that size had ever gone virtual. And I thought they pulled it off amazingly well. Like there was no gaffes, there was no pauses or anything like that. I mean, it was perfectly laid out, and it really demonstrated the soul of the nation because you didn't have all white people. You had a beautiful mix of what the the country represents, and I thought it was just an incredible layout that that the Democrats did, especially on day one. Eva Longoria was the host on day one, and I think she did a fabulous job as well.
I'm still, and I really wish that political parties would really get away from this. Not a big fan of having celebrities at these things. I'm not a big fan. I'm okay with celebrities endorsing whoever you want to endorse.
Right.
But I'm not a big fan of them I'm sure Eva Longoria is a great person and all this other stuff, but not a big fan of celebrities
so
doing this kind of stuff. I really do think that it should be just politicians, and they should really be talking to the rest of America. I really do think that that's probably one of the biggest reasons why Trump won in the first place. So I would like
Russia.
Well, yeah, but it didn't help it doesn't help when celebrities get involved, and that's just my opinion. But I really don't think that I really like when celebrities get that involved. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's going to be. I don't know who they're going to have when it comes to the RNC. I have no idea who's going to be. Could be Scott Baio. Could be Dean Cain.
Please let it be somebody relevant.
Mm-hmm. Could be Dean Cain. It could be James Woods.
Your opening speaker could be Chachi.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be James Woods, which I hope it's not James Woods. Actually, I do hope it's James Woods because I can't wait to hear what kind of stupidity comes out of his mouth.
Well, there's your comedy right there. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Also, it could be, what's his name? What's the other podcaster? I mean, the super famous
Rush Limbaugh.
No. Oh. God, Rush Limbaugh. Oh, God. He'll probably be there.
Joe
How
Rogan?
is he still alive?
Plenty of help.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Joe Rogan. I was going to go Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if he's.
I don't know either, but Joe Rogan is like the fucking man, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, that dude is like all over. Like,
he kind of,
his podcasts are fucking like going through the roof.
Yeah, I know that he's probably the reason why celebrities are jumping on the podcast wagon because
wasn't he like the first one? He was one of the
first ones. He has millions of followers, and I get it. I've listened to his show a couple of times, and not a big fan, but I mean. He's like the everyman, and I kind of like that idea. Mm-hmm. And I don't agree with a lot of his stuff, but I do agree with some of his stuff. So, I get where he's coming from. But he's like a guy. He's a guy. He is definitely a cisgender straight man. So he has beliefs that are very, very along those lines. Mm-hmm. I get it, but like I said, I don't agree with him fully, but. I understand why he's popular. Yeah, I really do understand why he's popular. So
yeah, I've listened to a few of his shows too, and I'm not rah, but I follow him sometimes, and I listen to what he says, and my opinion is neither here nor there. It's just like, okay, I'm listening to the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff like that. Like I said, it's a great show. And whatever he's doing,
he does it from his home.
Yeah, whatever he does to get the millions of people that follow him, it's amazing. So hopefully, one day soon, this little show called the H-Town Spin will be on that level. Hopefully. But going back to your point, Joel, when you said that you don't think celebrities should be hosting conventions and stuff like that. I was watching that, and I was like, you know what? A great idea would be just the common people.
Yeah, exactly.
Host it. Like the people that's really,
the Democrats people really need to show that they are, if you are going to win this election, you need to win the people in middle America especially.
Exactly.
Because those same people were the ones who put Trump in office.
Yeah.
So you need to be winning middle America. I don't need you to be winning celebrities.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton made that mistake, and
her mistake was she did not go after the rural people, and it's the rural people that voted for Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
And she went for the big metropolitan cities and stuff
and
like
this
that,
is a
she forgot the little bitty
Democratic thing. They will not go into red states because they figure that they're going to lose in those states anyway. But you really should be going into these states because you never know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Texas might be a red state, but a lot of the cities in Texas are kind of blue. So you could have actually won. You have a better chance of winning in Texas. Actually, this is probably going to be that election where you might have a better chance of winning Texas.
And, it's a toss-up right now in Texas. I mean, they are pretty much neck and neck, Biden and Trump. So, I mean, it could go.
And I really do think it's going to come down to the cities this time because I know that the reason Texas is red is because of rural areas.
Yeah.
And because those people, Those people get out and vote. I mean, those people get. I mean, well, they live in rural areas. It's
Right.
easy for them to get out and vote.
Right.
They literally walk down the street and vote.
Yeah.
In the city, it might be a little harder to get to where you need to get to. But the thing is that they get out and vote.
Yeah.
So it's really gonna, and especially in Texas when the governor here really has an iron fist on the cities and how the cities govern. It's really about time that cities in Texas really need to stand up and do something about that, because cities aren't allowed,
And
aren't
that's
being
what-
able to do the things that they need to do for themselves. They are the governor has way too much power in this state when it comes to that.
And that's why I like our county judge Lena Hidalgo, because she challenges the governor. But speaking of voting, guys, I'm going to tell you this every show up until the election: get out and vote. If you have not registered, please go online. You can go to
I need to find my-
you can go to voter registration in Texas. It will pull up the page. You can register right there. Early voting is coming soon
In October.
Please,
I think it starts
get,
October 15th.
get
I think.
out and vote. Make your voice heard, guys.
Which
It
I'm
is-
gonna do.
It is your fundamental. It is probably the one thing that we have in this country that is for the people. And it's a shame if for all the people that have died and fought for people to have the right to vote, it is a shame that we don't have more people that vote. And just let me tell you, let me give you some stats. Michelle Obama on day one, she's like, vote like we did in 2008 and 2012. Let me tell you the numbers in 2008. There was 131 million people that voted in 2008. That's 61.6% of the population. Okay? 2012, there was 120 million. Okay? So it was down a little bit from 2008 to 2012, but we need that kind of turnout to ensure that there's a change in the presidency.
And remember
If
that
we don't get that, then the chances are we're going to have 4 more years of hell.
And remember, and I really do think people need to remember this. Trump did lose the popular vote. He did
By
not-
over 3 million.
by over 3 million. He did not win the popular vote. So if you're a little discouraged by that, please don't be discouraged. I understand why. But the thing is that you still need to get out and vote. The more people that get out and vote, the more that the numbers
like
change.
Michelle Obama said, be ready to pack a lunch and be ready to stand in line if you need to, but do your civic duty. Your one basic fundamental civic duty is your right to vote. Please, guys, please vote. I can't stress it enough, because our democracy, as President Obama said in day 3, our democracy is under attack, guys, and it's really, really, really that important. It doesn't matter who you vote for. I was like, some of my listeners may be Republicans, some of them may be Democrats, some may be independent. I got love for everybody. But if you're not happy with the way things are in this country, then vote for change. It is your basic fundamental right. And nobody, even though they're trying to stop you, nobody is going to stop you from voicing your opinion.
And I think it's most important that I speak to Democrats. I know you wanted Barry. I know y'all wanted Bernie. I know y'all wanted Bernie Sanders. I know y'all did. And I understand your disappointment. But let me tell you something. Do you want 4 more years of Trump or 4 years of Biden? I'll take Biden any day. I'm sorry. I will literally, I'll take a log. I'll take a log and an alligator. I literally will take anything over Trump.
I will add to that.
Y'all will, if y'all can, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be bold when I say this. Just vote for Biden, and then we'll see what happens after that. Okay? Let's just do that. Let's just vote for Biden, and then we'll see what happens after that. And then hopefully we'll have decent people running for office on either side. But for right now, this man has got to go.
Yeah. And my thing that I want listeners to look at, there's 2 things, okay? And these are rhetorical questions, okay? The first one is, are you better now than you were 4 years ago.
And if you say yes, I would like to know where you're
Number
what
two.
you're better at. I'm gonna have to buy John a bottle of wine because I'm drinking his little hard cider here, which is actually quite good. It's actually quite. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. The second point that I want to make sure people understand is if you are rich and you are in the stock market to some degree, of course you are going to be happy with Trump because Trump is a Wall Street money guy. Okay, but
if you're Jeff Bezos, you're super happy.
Exactly.
Well, him and Jeff Bezos don't get along. Really.
No, but I guarantee you, Jeff Bezos is happy because he's made like $200 billion during all this.
Oh,
right?
isn't
Zuckerberg? All of them.
Is it Apple now? Is it Apple or Microsoft?
Apple.
That's now
Apple.
a trillionaire company.
Apple.
Now.
But focus on this, guys. Wall Street and the economy are two totally different things because the Wall Street's doing great. The stock market's up, the S&Ps are up and stuff like that, but you still have 30 million plus people out of work.
It's almost 50.
But you still have companies going out of business and stuff like that. So the Republicans and the president is going to say, well, the economy is on its way back. No, the economy is not on its way back. The stock market is doing good. And if you're rich and you have money in the stock market, then you're doing great. You're happy. But the rest of the country, the other 90% of the country or 95% of the country, they're struggling. And there's people that, have literally had their unemployment slashed, guys. They were getting an extra, $600 a week. Now it's down to $300. And then the states have to agree to pay a quarter of that. So, I mean, it's really not that great. But the current administration is going to paint this rosy little picture that if the stock market is doing good, the economy is doing good. They are two totally different things. The Wall Street does not control the economy. So, I want people to factor that in when they're voting and say, well, but like I said, if you're rich and you have money in the stock market and you're playing the stock market and you're Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or something like that, you're not going to vote for Biden. You're going to vote for Trump because he's like, man, I want that guy in the office because he's making me money. But look at the rest of the country. The rest of the country is struggling and they need help and they need true, real leadership.
And I'm gonna throw this in here too. Those states that are actually going to try to implement that extra 300, it's really coming out of their pockets mostly. And there is a promise from the government that they are going to pay, but it's really coming out of the states' pockets, which puts the states in even dire jeopardy because they're already dealing with other stuff.
Because the states don't have any money, guys.
The states don't have the money to do that kind of stuff. I mean, this wasn't passed down from Congress.
So when
this was a presidential order, so this was not passed down from Congress.
So, guys, don't get mad at the federal government when your state taxes go up because the state has to recoup their money.
Yeah, exactly.
Somehow, because the government's not giving them money. The government's saying, "Yeah, we'll give you $300 for unemployment, but you have to give $100 of that $300, and that's all we're going to give you." So the states that are already financially strapped. The only way for them to recoup any kind of money is to raise your taxes in whatever state is agreeing to this. So don't blame it on the Democrats. Don't blame it on, because they've passed legislation. It's gone to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell has sat his ass on it and done nothing with it. Matter of fact, he's probably wiped his ass with it. And that's it.
I would have been okay with a compromise. I wish for a compromise again. I would have been okay. I understand that the Republicans are like, we don't want to pay an extra $600 a month. People aren't going back to work. I understand that. I really do truly understand that.
But do you know a lot of people that are sitting on their ass and just not wanting to work because they're getting an extra $600?
That's not how. You know what? You know what really gets me mad is these Republicans who are coming out here and say, "Well, people would rather sit at home." And people, that's not how people work.
I don't know people like that.
I don't. Okay, you know what? There might be a small percentage.
Exactly.
And by the way, there's always going to be a small percentage of people who are perfectly fine with sitting at home doing nothing.
Exactly.
There's all, but that percentage is so small, it's ridiculous.
It's
Everybody
not even
else,
1%, guys. Like
it's exactly. So that's a lie. It just like the food stamp lie that we heard many years ago. So it's the same lie.
Yeah.
So the government keeps rehashing the same old lies all over again. However, I do understand the Republican point of view of, okay, well, we paid out this much. Let's cut it in half a little bit and come to a compromise. Compromise should be a part of government.
Right.
And I'm okay if they'd come up with a compromise. But, when both sides are like, my way or the highway,
Yeah.
shit doesn't get done. This is why we're in the states that we're in.
And guys, I am not, like, Joel knows this. Anybody who really knows me knows that I am, yes, I am a Democrat, but I am not so far left that I think everything that the Democrats do is the greatest fucking thing on the planet. They fuck up. Just like Republicans fuck up. And Joel makes a very valid point that if both of them would have just fucking compromised, then nobody would have lost any benefits at all. Benefits would not have stopped. But it's both people. It takes two to tango. And it's both people. It takes two people to fight. You can't fight yourself. You gotta have somebody else to fight. So if you have one party that's saying, I'm not going to do this, and you have the other party saying, I'm not going to do this, then nothing's going to get done.
Yeah, exactly.
So they need to bring their ass back to the table, and they need to hammer out whatever issues they need to hammer out, because aside from the top 10% of the country, 90% of the country are fucked, and they're struggling. And you got so many people that's about to lose their apartment or their home. By the end of the year, there's going to be a huge, what's the word I'm looking for, Joel? Eviction. There's going to be a huge eviction throughout the country because you have people that just can't afford to, because of COVID. So that's where the Republicans, instead of going on break, yes, I know they get a yearly break and they take a month and they come back after Labor Day and stuff like that. That's great, okay, and that would be fine in times other than this. But right now you have all this shit going on. Your mindset should not be, I'm going to take a month-long vacation. Your thought should be, you know what, we're going to stay here until we hammer this shit out.
Exactly.
And that's where the voting part comes in at. If you don't like what's going on in Washington, vote. Do not think that your vote does not count, because it does. Look at what happened in 2008. 131 million people voted. We need that kind of turnout this year.
That's true. So, and young people, y'all need to vote. People of color, y'all need to vote. People in my community, in the gay and lesbian community, LGBTQ community, you need to vote.
And here's the great thing about that.
Especially the T's, because transgender people, y'all, good Lord. Y'all are getting hit from all sides. And I don't understand why. You're not a large part of the population. And I don't understand why there's a personal vendetta. And, it really does feel like it's a personal vendetta that comes down from the White House.
Yeah.
I feel like that he truly, truly hates transgender people, and I don't know why. You picked on a group of people who just trying to live their life every day.
Yeah.
And we really need to question why are you spending so much time with this?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. You need to be spending time fixing the economy and getting people back to work and getting people healthy and all this other stuff. You spending too much time on a group of people.
But we're asking that from a person in office that has no compassion for people.
And
he doesn't care about people.
And that trickles down because those people who, like I said, this is why I don't support.
They enable him.
This is why I'm not for Trump supporters, because they look at his attitude and they feel like they have the same attitude, and they walk around here acting like that they can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And when you have a man who never apologizes for anything, when you have a man who never takes responsibility for anything, and you have followers who follow him, they feel the same. They feel just as entitled as he does.
I mean, you got all the things. Speaking of followers, you got all these people, this QAnon bullshit, right? They asked him this week what he thought of that, and he was like, "Well, I don't really know much about them, but I do know that they like me very much and stuff like that." Like, that's all he cares about. He's not even looking at, I mean, the QAnon thing is a cult following, and they're talking about pedophiles and cannibalism, and that Donald Trump is like the savior that's gonna save the world from pedophiles and who comes up with this dumb shit?
Exactly. Who comes up with this?
I'm like, you guys want comedy? Like, just read that shit.
I'm sorry. Is the world full of pedophiles and
I
cannibals?
mean, you know what?
I mean, is this a global problem that we really need to look? Don't get me wrong. Pedophilia, that's nothing to joke about.
Exactly.
That is nothing to joke about. So that I understand. But
if you're asking Donald Trump to be the savior of all of that and everything, the dude can't even. I bet you he needs help tying his shoes. Like, seriously. I mean, come on, guys. Like, let's be real. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to my final point on the voting. So, for those people that are afraid to go stand in a line and put their mask on and everything, remember, early voting starts in October, but you have to be registered. So go register now, and you'll be able to vote by mail. You'll be able to do your, and by the way, absentee balloting and mail-in voting are the same thing. Absentee voting and mail-in voting are the same exact thing, guys. There's not two different ones. They are the same thing. So whether you do it absentee, whether you do mail-in, doesn't matter. Vote. Get out there and vote. So let me tell you just real quick, day 2 of the Democratic Convention was all about leadership. Like, everything was all about leadership and the contrast between the leadership on the Democratic Party and the non-leadership on the Republican side of the party. Because over the last 4 years, let's face it, the Republican Party has not really shown a lot of leadership. They haven't. If anything, there's been more downplaying of serious issues like COVID. And you've had more Democratic people that have been like, no, you got to take this serious, blah, blah, And so, I'm not going to get into the speakers on that because I do want to jump into day 3, but, I'll let producer Joel comment on day 2. But I did write that down because I thought that was probably, for that day, I thought that was the biggest thing. It was better than anything that anybody could have said was it's all about leadership.
And I don't really have a lot to say about that except for the fact that on a certain level, and I want to give a little credit here because, like I said, the reason why I separate Republicans and Trump supporters is because Republicans are starting to take a look at their leadership and going, what the
fuck did we?
What the fuck is
exactly
wrong with this man?
Exactly.
He is not doing anything.
There was even a report the other day that Sean Hannity from Fox News has told people in private that this man is batshit crazy. Right? This is his favorite network, and Hannity is one of his favorite people and stuff like that.
Actually,
and he's going back and saying he's going back behind closed doors and saying this guy's batshit crazy.
Well, actually, I think he made a speech the other day where he said that Fox used to be his favorite network, but it's no longer his favorite
What's
network.
his favorite network now?
I think he's along
Is it America's Voice?
It probably is.
Or one of those. There's on Pluto TV, they have this channel called America's Voice, and it's all about Trump. Like, he would literally love this shit if he was watching it.
Oh, he's watching it. He's watching it.
So I'm just...
But Fox News is no longer his favorite channel anymore.
Yeah, because you got people like Chris Wallace on Fox News, and I do not watch Fox News, but I do like Chris Wallace because Chris Wallace used to be with ABC News, and he's a very, 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 very great journalist. And when he literally interviewed Trump like a month ago, and he called him out for this bullshit right there on TV and stuff like that, and Trump couldn't answer it, I think that was the beginning of the end of Fox and his love affair with Fox News.
I think it actually goes back a little further than that, but
that's definitely one of the...
Yeah, but I really do think that he still has some fans at Fox News, but they are not. They are really starting to come out and go.
They aren't as loyal as they once were.
They're not as loyal as they once were, and they're really. I mean, he called in on their morning show,
Fox
and let them have it about the fact that they used to be his favorite network and all this other stuff, but now, they're not his favorite network. And you could tell from the look on the host's face that they were like,
"Yeah,
what the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
What did you call? Why did you call us?
Exactly.
I mean, it's gotten out of hand
because it's election season and they're distancing themselves from him because they know for a fact, as with most of the pundits, that Trump's in trouble. Trump's in trouble with this election, and that's the reason why he's doing what he's doing to the Postal Service, or he's trying to do what he's trying to do to the Postal Service to get them to slow down. The mail delivery and to take out the rapid sorting machines and stuff like that because he's trying to suppress the vote. So that's another reason why you need to get out there and vote, guys. If you are complicit and you don't vote, then you are basically condoning what this man is doing. And this man is literally... He ain't hiding it. He's literally come up and said, I'm not going to give money to the Postal Service because of this or because of this or because of this. And these are all ways that he is suppressing the vote. And I've never, in my lifetime, in my 51 years, I've never known this country to have a president that's been so blatant about voter suppression like we do now.
Well, he's been blatant about a lot of things,
but I've just never heard it.
I don't understand the reasoning behind the United States Postal Service is part of the government. They're not supposed to make a profit. They're supposed to be government employees.
It's over 90% approval rate. It is the only government entity that the people don't want nobody to fuck with it. Don't fuck. They're like, I get my medicine, I get my checks, I get my mail, don't fuck with the post office.
Yeah, exactly.
You can fuck with every other government entity, but don't fuck with the post office.
You can even fuck with Social Security, but don't fuck with...
You can fuck all of us on Social Security, but don't fuck with the post office.
Don't fuck with the post office because people get upset.
Like, they are pissed. They are like, they're protesting that shit outside the Joy's, whatever his name, the Postmaster General. They're outside his house, protesting, which is a beautiful thing. I was happy when I saw it, but, You're fucking with people's livelihood now. It's not just the mail. People get their medicine. People get whatever they get.
Old people still get their checks.
Exactly.
They like paper. And you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna have to agree. I understand why older people want their checks instead of doing direct deposit. You don't want nobody fucking with, because people can go online and fuck with your shit. But a check?
But people can steal your check too.
Well, people can steal your check, but most people aren't looking for it because 90%,
90% is everything's online.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly. I look at some of the things that will probably become obsolete in the future, and I think certain areas of crime will become obsolete in the future because everything's. Though the cybercrime will definitely be a thing.
It's already
a huge thing
now.
But other crimes like robberies and all this other stuff, what's the point?
Because people are gonna. It's all digital.
Ain't nobody have any money. Oh, nobody's carrying any cash.
Yeah, it's all digital.
It's all digital. The moment that you try to get somebody to go to the ATM, all they have to do is make a phone call to the bank. They get their money back. You ain't gonna get it. They're gonna get their money back.
They'll cancel it.
The moment that you steal somebody's phone, everybody has a My Phone app. They'll find you.
Yeah.
One instance, and I'm not going to mention a name, but the restaurant I was working at, one of their locations, got robbed a couple of years ago, and there were customers inside the store, and they took their phones and their money. They were caught 35 minutes later walking down the railroad tracks because somebody had their My Phone app, Find My Phone app on.
Yeah.
And they caught him with it 35. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Petty crimes are not worth it.
Nope.
It's not worth it. So
everything's all digital. So it's like, like you have to put in a code to unlock your phone, or if you have fingerprint, you have to you're the only person that can open that phone and stuff like that. So if
now I know most of us are ordering stuff online, and luckily I live inside of a building, so I don't really worry that much when I get packages. I've had packages sit out there for 2-3 days. And
we have the hub where I live, where all packages it automatically goes into the hub, and then they send you an email telling you what your code is and stuff like that, and you're the only one with that. And then when you go and you type it in, and then the door automatically opens. So there's nobody leaving packages on the doorsteps anymore. Now it's all going into like the Amazon hub, which I think is a brilliant idea.
It's a brilliant idea.
It's a great idea.
It's a great idea. But I'm optimistic about certain things in the future. I'm a little worried about other global warming and all this other stuff. I'm a little worried about, but I hate to say this, but young people, y'all gonna have to take care of that because I'm sorry, we fucked it up.
They are the future, and
I'm sorry, but my generation on back, we fucked it up.
Yep,
we should admit we fucked it up.
We did.
We fucked it up, and now y'all gonna have to clean up the mess.
Yep,
we apologize.
Yes,
but we're gonna do everything we can on our end to help as well.
Producer Joel and I are like the only two people out of 330 million that are actively telling young people, "Look, we're sorry for the fuck up."
Okay? We will do everything we possibly can to help, and we will support y'all. But we fucked up.
We did.
And luckily for some of us in our age group who have children who are basically millennials and some Gen Zers.
I have a millennial.
We thankfully enough, we did teach them that, hey, you're going to have to.
Yeah. You're going to have to do this.
You're going to have to do that.
So let me jump to day 3 because day 3 was probably the most important day because the two keynote speakers was Kamala Harris accepting the vice president nomination, and let's say it together, President Barack Obama gave. I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy when Barack Obama started speaking because it brought back complete sentences. Like I literally forgot what an eloquent speaker Barack Obama was. I forgot what a person that speaks in an intelligent, eloquent tone and uses complete sentences. I forgot what that sounded like.
You remember what the biggest scandal of the Obama administration was?
Did he have it? I'm like,
yes.
Really?
Let me tell you
what was the biggest
scandal.
Oh, the tan suit.
The tan suit.
He wore a tan suit.
He wore a tan suit,
and the Republicans fucking flipped their wig.
You know, the amazing thing is that Mitch McConnell not too long ago wore a tan suit.
And nobody say anything?
Nobody said a goddamn. Well, you know, a lot of people said something. A lot of people said something on Twitter. The Twitterverse is always. If you want to know what people are saying, you go to the Twitterverse.
Yeah, because there's no holds barred.
There's no holds barred. But a lot of people had something to say about Mitch McConnell wearing a tan suit. But the biggest scandal of the Obama administration was the fact
tan suit.
How many? I mean, I can't even count anymore. With that, I can't. You know, they're once again going before the Supreme Court, bothering the Supreme Court about his Twitter account.
Yeah.
Again.
That's
after
crazy.
they just said, you can't really what?
Yeah. And you know what? You know what? Honestly, guys, that's probably what they did. Exactly what producer Joel just did. Like what? Like that's probably what the justices at the Supreme Court when they saw that they were.
I'm sure Clarence Thomas and the other one had something to say, but for the most part, the other justices are like, why is he back here?
Exactly.
We just told him that there's nothing you can do about that.
Exactly.
And he went back again.
And
this man loves to go to court.
Oh yeah, and he loses. That's the thing. Is like I posted.
Now he's won some,
but he's lost way more than he's won. And I actually posted.
He's actually been very surprised because he thought that the people he put on the Supreme Court
we're gonna back him 100%. And Justice Roberts, I applaud Justice Roberts because the two big Supreme Court cases before they went on recess, Trump was 100%, sure that Justice Roberts would lean his way, and he went the other way, and it caused defeat for Donald Trump. And I was like, because.
The Supreme Court has been very surprising with a lot of their rulings.
Yeah.
A lot of the rulings on abortion, the rulings on
Trump's taxes and stuff like that.
Trump's taxes.
That he was going to win that.
Yeah, Trump's taxes. Equal Employment Act when it comes to gay and lesbians and transgender people. A lot of things that have been. Louisiana lost again. Was it Louisiana? I think it was Louisiana. Louisiana lost again when it came to their restrictive abortion policies, which not really surprised. This is a court that is just not going to touch that.
Yeah.
And they have made that quite clear. They're not going to touch it.
Well, if I remember correctly, the ruling that the Supreme Court gave on the second one was, we've already done this before. We gave you guys this ruling, 2 years ago or whatever, So use that ruling on this ruling. We're not going to touch that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those are things that the Supreme Court, he's lost some. And the fact that now his tax returns are probably going to be put out there, but they're not going to be put out there until after the election is over.
Which is fine because
which most people will, and you know what? I can't believe
I will
I'm
be honest
saying
and
this,
tell you
but
this, Joel.
I followed Trump back in the early 80s and 90s.
The guy was ruthless back then.
He had, most people don't know this. He likes to think that he is like, first of all, he's not a billionaire. Let's take that off the table right now. He's not a billionaire. At most, he might be worth $600 to $700 million. But that's all tied up in his business. He is actually cash poor.
Yeah, and his businesses may be worth, billions and stuff like that. But if he sold all of his businesses, he wouldn't be a billionaire. He would, because he would not get what he's asking for. They'll haggle with him,
and for those of you in the ordinary community, and I say this with all my love, touting him as a brilliant businessman, please stop doing that.
He's
if he had started
5 times.
If he had 6, actually.
6?
And if he had been one of those people who started from the bottom and now we're here, the man inherited his money. He's not a...
And what's even worse, he got money from his dad, right? But then at the reading of the will, he, based on from his sister Mary Trump in her book, he cut other people in the family out of their inheritance and took their inheritance on top of what he got. So if he's willing to do that to his own family, what do you guys think he would do to the American people? And what he's shown he's done to the American people.
Exactly.
So speaking on day 3, just the Barack Obama's speech, I almost cried because there was parts in that speech. It started out very eloquently, but as he was talking about voting for our democracy, and he was talking about the things that African Americans and Irish people and immigrants have gone through in this country, especially the part about African Americans just wanting to sit at the counter. They had to go through lynchings. They had to go through being murdered. They had to go through being spit on and stuff like that. If you watched it, which you didn't, Joel, so I'm going to tell you, but watching him, you could see his eyes were tearing up like he was about to cry, speaking on that. And I've never seen that kind of an emotion from a president speaking to the country saying, look, our democracy is at stake if you reelect this guy. We won't have a democracy, and that's basically what Trump is trying to do. Trump is trying to take away our democracy, guys. He's trying to strip it slowly away. And as Barack Obama said, once the democracy is stripped away, then you have no democracy. And then it turns into what they have in Russia, where you have a authoritarian, right? And that's what Trump is trying to do. So, basically his message wasn't to, rah, 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 vote for Biden. It was just vote for Biden. But here's why you need to vote for Biden. Because Joe can restore the soul of the nation. Because if you don't hear and you vote this guy, we're going to lose what little democracy we have. We're going to lose it, and it's going to be gone forever.
Joe's going to be spending most of his presidency cleaning up everything that Trump left behind.
If he gets reelected, if he does 2 terms, he's going to spend 7 of the 8 years cleaning up Trump's shit.
He's going to be cleaning up Trump's mess for the first half of his presidency. I mean, really, that's what it really boils down to. This is a president. This is a man who's going to spend the next 4 years, if he wins, which I'm hoping he wins. Newsweek said that we might get Trump back in office. This is why you have to go out and vote.
Well, if you let Trump say, Trump is going to try and push for a 3rd term because he says Obama spied on him. Like the Obama campaign spied on him. So he's like, I should get an additional 4 years. I'm like, that to me is like super funny, but I'm not laughing too hard because he ain't laughing. He's serious about this shit.
Okay, you need a constitutional amendment. I'm not worried about that. That's just all speak.
But he's got so many. He got so many Republican senators in his pocket that they could probably send. They could probably bring some type of.
It would take years.
Some type of vote. But I'm just saying, like the American people, if you guys think that the crazy shit that he says that he's just joking, he ain't joking.
No, he's not joking, but thanks to the protections in the Constitution, it's not going to happen. In order for him to get a 3rd term,
I mean, that's like
he
him
would have to
be
change
on Mount Rushmore, right?
He would have to add. They would have to add an amendment to the Constitution that would allow him to do that, which has to be ratified by 2/3 of the states, if I remember correctly. I know enough. By 2/3 of the states to do that, and 2/3 of he's never going to win that.
Well, he doesn't have 2/3 of the states as Republican governors.
So it's not. It's just talk. I think that we need to. I think it's a little bit of fear mongering on that part, but it's nearly impossible to do that. Adding an amendment, or even changing an amendment in the United States Constitution
takes so much work.
Takes so much. The ERA, which has been ratified by almost all, they have almost all the states they need, has been going on since the 1970s. So, if you could, no, Trump will. He will not get a do-over.
I'm not saying.
He will not get a 3rd.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that as ludicrous as it sounds to us, it's not ludicrous to him, and it's not ludicrous to the people that follow him. They're like, yeah, you know, that makes a lot of sense. You know, this guy says Obama spied on him, so yeah, he should get an extra 4 years.
Those people are stupid.
They are. But guess what? Those stupid people are the. I'm not saying everybody that voted for Trump was stupid, but the majority of them.
I am. I don't have a problem with saying that.
But the majority of them were. And guess who got elected? With a little help from a foreign power. So, you know.
So changing adding an amendment. Well, actually, you have to change. I forget which one, but you would have to change that because the last president that had more than 2 terms was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and then they changed it. So he was the last president to have more than one.
What, he have like 3 terms?
He had 4.
4?
I think he died in his 4th term, and almost at the end of his 4th term, but he had 4 terms. So he was the last American president to have more than 2 terms. And then that got changed. And actually, that didn't take much effort, but that got changed. So, yeah, it will take a lot to do that. And he's not going to win when he needs to win.
Right.
In order to do that. Changing the Constitution is not easy, and the Founding Fathers set it up that way, so it wouldn't be easy.
And if you guys think that the Founding Fathers had to be like incredibly smart people because they foretold basically everything that was that a president could try to do. And they put all of that in the Constitution. Like, this is what you can and you cannot do.
But they also set up the Constitution where if you do, they set it up for the future because they knew that the country was going to change. And the idea of the Constitution was to be able to make those changes accordingly.
Right.
To do what you need to do to make those changes to make whatever society you're living. They thought about the future, and they knew that the country was going to be different from where it started. So they knew that in order to set up the Constitution a certain way, one, you have to make it hard, and two, that when you do add an amendment to the Constitution, it really is for what it needs to be.
Right.
And So it was set up that way for it to change, and that you can change. If people wanted to, you can go back and change the Second Amendment if people wanted to.
Right.
I mean, we did that with Prohibition. Mm-hmm. We did that with Prohibition. I can't remember. 18th. You know what? If you're going to make me remember amendments.
I'm not. I'm not.
I think it was the 18th Amendment.
I'm not a history class.
I'm sure people will go back and go, no, that's no, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Prohibition, and then we went back to, after that, then we got rid of Prohibition. Mm-hmm. It could be done.
Yeah.
If you want to go in and change the Constitution in any way, shape, or form, you can do it. That's the way it was set up to be.
Right.
But I'm not worried about a man who is so delusional that he thinks that it's just going to be easy to just go and win a third term. That's not how that's not how our democracy is set up.
I just wanted to point that out to
Mm-hmm.
the people, just to let like this is because this is opinion,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's also newsworthy because this is literally like
Mm-hmm.
he started floating that idea around last week that well, the Obama campaign spied on me and everything, so I should be allowed an additional 4 years. And I'm like,
he sounds like a 6-year-old.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
We're pretty. I think you're going to go over. You realize that?
well, I'm just going to cover one more little point about. I'm going to get into day 4 because day 4 was even though day 3 was amazing, everybody went to.
I'm just letting you know you.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll go over a few minutes, but day 4 was the Joe Biden show. It was Joe Biden accepting the nomination, and it was a brilliant speech that Joe Biden gave. That they are not labeling him Sleepy Joe anymore after this speech. And basically he accepted the nomination and he laid out his plan for how to take back the soul of the nation and make it work for everybody. And he's getting rave reviews for that speech. Even the Republicans, the Republicans, after they heard the speech, they were like, wow, okay. And the great thing about the Democrats, they had a lot of Republican people on the Democrats that were siding with Joe Biden. Colin Powell, you had John Kasich, there was a lot of Republican, strong, Republican people that have voted Republican their whole life. They've been Republican their whole life, and they literally were on the Democratic convention talking about how Joe Biden can restore the nation to prominence, because right now, as Barack Obama said, we are basically the laughing stock in the world. We are not that strong country that we used to be. We're not. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were. But if you look at where we are now, we're not. People are other countries are laughing at us. They're out-lapping us. They are, the American money is not what it used to be. The American symbol of power is not as strong as it used to be. And, take that back. And if you remember how we used to be when Reagan was in office and when Bush was in office and when Clinton was in office, and how everybody feared us, or they had an utmost respect for the United States, we don't have that now. We don't. Even when Obama was in office, people respected us. They wanted to go to the bargaining table with us. They wanted to come to terms on different agreements and stuff like that. They don't want to do that now. They don't want us. And a lot of it's happened in the last 4 years because of the guy that's in office now.
Well, I hate to say it, but thanks to that guy, China will now be the world superpower.
Yeah.
They will be. Their influence will be far greater than the United States.
We had Russia in check. We had Iran in check. We had North Korea in check. Ever since Trump came into office, he's best buddies with Putin, with the Iranian president, and with Kim Jong-un, right? When Obama was in office and Clinton was in office and stuff like that, we never thought of these guys.
Well, I don't know if he's best buddies with didn't he just recently bring up to the UN that he wants sanctions on Iran again?
Yes, but still, I mean, but back when
By the way,
when Obama was in office,
why are we talking about this now? I mean, You didn't even get Mexico to pay for a wall.
Exactly. You lied to the American people.
You lied to the American people.
What's his campaign manager? The guy that just got arrested for fraud?
Oh, Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon. And guess what was the name of the company?
Oh, I can't remember.
It was an online. It was like a GoFundMe.
Oh, I don't remember.
To help with building of the wall, and they didn't. None of that money was used for that. That money was spent on yachts and planes and cosmetic surgery. Like seriously, I'm like, there was 4 guys, and all 4 of them got indicted. But these are people that have been associated with the president of the United States, and they're criminals. Criminals. So, like, guys, make your, I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for.
I'm sure he will, while he's got, depending on, oh, God, can you imagine this? Oh, my God, I don't want to imagine this. If he were to win, and I don't want to imagine this, and I don't want to scare anybody.
Let's will it not to happen.
But I'm going to scare you anyway. If he were to win, all he would do is pardon him.
Yeah.
He did it to Roger Stone.
Yeah.
All he would do is pardon him.
Yeah.
And by the way, if he loses, and hopefully,
if he loses, he's going to tie it up in court because he's going to be like, well, everybody did mail-in voting, and it's flawed and stuff like that. So what he'll do is he'll prolong it as long as he can. He is a crook. He is a criminal. He is a crook, and that's why we say. It is important. This is probably the most important voting decision of your life.
I don't care what you do after Biden, but please don't do this. I mean, and I'm sorry I didn't watch the Obama speech because, like I said, I already made up my mind, so I didn't need to. I didn't need to go through it.
I think you would.
But I understand. I think what he was basically saying is, black people went through all this shit and still went out and voted. So y'all don't have no excuse. Yeah. That's the summary of it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the summary. Lynchings and murders and people getting hosed down and all that's just because they wanted to vote. Y'all don't have no excuse.
Because they wanted to sit at a counter.
Yeah,
they got spit on and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, I'm like, can you imagine? Like, let's ask the audience if you went into a place and they said there was a sign on the door that says, if you are a millennial, you can't come in here, and there's people outside spitting on you. How would you feel? How would you feel? Like, I mean, this is stuff that, this stuff happened in the 60s and 70s or late 50s, early 60s, but primarily the 60s. But think about that. If you were a millennial right now and you went into a convenience store and there was a sign on the door and there was a guy standing outside that said, millennials are not allowed. And then you tried to fight them, and they beat you, they hit you, they sprayed you with hoses, they spit on you. How would you feel? If you would not stand for that, then understand what those people back in the 60s went through. Just so you can get out and vote. Just so they could go into a building and sit down and eat at a counter. Like, it was, I mean, that message, that speech from Obama was so powerful. And like
powerful enough to remind you ain't got no excuse. Get out and vote.
Exactly. And that is the key statement.
Because other people have gone through some crappy ass shit just so they can sit at a counter.
Yes.
Are you serious? Get out and vote. You don't have no excuse.
And you're gonna say you can't go or you can't vote because COVID. There's mail-in. They didn't have mail-in voting.
Y'all don't have a problem with going to parties.
Exactly.
Y'all don't have a problem with going to the bars. Y'all didn't have a problem with going out to eat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Y'all don't have a problem with that. So don't talk about COVID.
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
Going to the bar and all that is not your fundamental right.
Yeah, exactly.
Voting is your fundamental right. It is your civic duty. Your civic duty is not to go out and get drunk at a bar. It is a
it's
freedom.
Cheaper to go to the liquor store.
It is a freedom. it is a freedom that you enjoy, right? Voting is the same thing, but people died so you can be allowed to go and vote. Let that sink in, guys. That's your perspective.
So and by the way, and then afterwards you can go to the bar.
Exactly.
If the bars are open, I don't think most bars are open, but go vote. Get up early in the morning.
They open at 7.
They open at 7. Get up early in the morning.
Or
your employee will understand, by the
or
way,
do
and they
the-
cannot
or-
fire you.
or do the simple thing.
Early vote.
Early vote.
Early
vote.
vote.
Mail in voting. Get your vote in early, guys.
You know, the beautiful thing is, I can either walk down the street to vote in a regular election, or I can take a bus and go a little bit further, only about 10 minutes away, and early vote.
And don't think, wait a minute, on voting days, doesn't Metro, they don't charge.
I don't think they charge.
I don't think they charge if you're voting. If you're going to a polling location, they don't vote. I mean, they don't charge you and stuff like that. Like, as long as you're, you know, I think you have to show them after you vote or something like that.
I have my voter registration card around here somewhere. I have to go look for it now.
I have one.
But if you don't have, if you already registered, which I already checked, and I am registered, they actually did send me a new voter registration card. In the last election, which I voted for the senators and all this other stuff, I had to go vote way on the other side of town because they still had me on the way of the other side of town. And then 2 days later, they sent me the registration.
Right. After you voted.
After I voted, for me to go walk 4 blocks down the street.
Right.
To go vote. But the fact of the matter is that I'm registered to vote. And I checked with my registrar because I couldn't find. I have my voter registration around here somewhere. It's, you know, it was sitting on my coffee table for almost 4 or 5 months now.
Right.
So I know it's around here somewhere. I just have to find it. But even if you don't have it, all you need is a valid ID and some kind of bill, I think.
Well, all my bills are online, but I've talked to my
Yeah.
registrar. But guys, the key thing is if you're not registered, Google on your phone or on your computer or your tablet or whatever, voter registration in Texas. Once you do that, it will pull up the necessary page that you need to go to. Once you click that, it will tell you.
It took me 5 minutes to
It
register.
will literally ask you if you need to vote. Click here. You click that, it will. It's basically like an online registration form. You send it, you're registered. It literally takes 5 minutes. You don't even have to leave your house to do this.
And most of us can't leave the house anyway, so you don't have an excuse.
There's no excuse.
There's a lot of us can't leave the house, so there's no excuse. You just go online and do it. It takes 5 minutes.
Yep.
Takes 5 minutes, and 5 minutes of your time, it's not going to kill you.
Yep.
I mean, in 5 minutes, I can look up what video game I'm going to play this week.
Exactly. I mean, it's
Or fill out my unemployment form, which takes 2 minutes.
yeah. I mean, it's really
Which
it's really
is
very
2
very
minutes.
simple. It's really simple, guys.
So it's really that simple. Just do your thing, get out and vote. And I say this to everyone, like I said, especially in the African American community, which I have a lot of faith in because I know they're going to get out and vote.
Oh yes.
I know that they're going to get out and vote. But
It's the other.
but I need
it's
the
other
LGBTQ
nationalities that we're worried about.
Yeah, it's the LGBTQ community that I need out there to vote. Y'all need to get out there and vote, especially the T's. Y'all need to get out there and vote because this is definitely the time where transgender people, male and female, y'all need to get out and vote.
Our Hispanic people need to get out and vote.
Oh, I'm
as
not
well.
worried about them either because COVID has hit them so hard. They're pissed. So they're going to get out and vote. They're pissed.
Okay.
They're pissed. They're going to get out and vote because the numbers for COVID are actually higher than they are for African Americans.
Oh wow. Okay.
They're going to get out and vote.
Awesome.
They don't have a problem with it. They are going to get. They will mow a lot, and I don't mean no harm, and I do not mean any harm, but they will mow the lawn in front of the voting place and then still go vote. So
They'll do the landscaping.
They'll
and
do the
everything.
landscaping. They'll fix the roof. They'll do whatever.
Yep.
And I don't mean no harm. I'm just joking. Because black people will barbecue. If it makes you feel better, black people will set up a grill and barbecue in the front, and everybody will get fed
While they're standing in
while
line,
they're standing in line.
listen to chopped and screwed music. Like seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Have some Drake or some Beyonce playing in the front to make sure you're gonna get fed.
You're gonna be in line for 5 hours. How you want your sausage? You want
Yeah, exactly.
You want links? Or you want
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes.
Link sliced.
Yeah, exactly. It ain't gonna
roast
be.
beef.
And I don't mean no harm. It's not gonna be like white folks barbecue where it's hot dogs and hamburgers.
Exactly.
They're gonna have ribs. It's gonna be some chicken.
Oxtails, it's gonna be
chicken.
Yep.
It's gonna be some ribs, some sausage going on. Somebody's gonna make a fabulous potato salad. It's gonna be a bunch of black women fighting over who's got the best potato salad, but they all gonna be in line voting.
And they all gonna have what's the favorite? What's the favorite drink? What do they drink?
Kool-Aid.
Hennessy. No. Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Bottles of it.
Okay. First of all, please, I'm encouraging y'all.
Don't come to the polls drunk.
Don't be drunk.
Save
Get drunk. Save it for afterwards.
You know what you do? You do a post. You do a post.
You do one
election.
you one shot before, and
you
then
do a
several
post election
shots
celebration.
afterwards.
Like, ooh, I felt it. I voted. Yeah, you do that.
So blacks and Hispanics, we gonna get out there. I think we're going to get out there in large numbers. I really do. I think we're going to get out there. And like I said, no matter what happens on either side, if we have to stand in line for 6, 7, 8 hours, we'll be prepared. Somebody's going to have some barbacoa going on.
They're going to have some lawn chairs. Slip and slide for the kids.
Your Nintendo Switches is going to be everywhere. If necessary, I will come down there with my little TV. And my little Stadia controller, and I'll sit there and play video games until it's time for me to vote.
Yep. So basically, all we're saying, guys, I mean, we're joking on some stuff, but the truth of the matter is, do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. Because if you're voting in person, chances are it's not going to be a quick process. You may be there for 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever like that. So bring comfortable things. If you need if you want to bring a lawn chair, bring a lawn chair. If you want to bring, no alcohol or anything like that, but bring plenty of water, especially if you're voting in Houston, because you guys know it's hot as bejesus outside.
Well, hopefully November it'll be a little cooler. Hopefully
October for early voting.
Well, for early voting, but if you're going to vote on
it should
November
be, but
4th,
I mean we're still subtropical. So.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler. But make sure, like he said, bring your lawn chairs, bring your favorite music, have all your stuff charged, your cell phones, your iPads, whatever you got, your Nintendo Switches, all your stuff that you need. Have it all charged up and ready to go. Bring your extra. It's going to be hours, so make sure you bring your little charging units so you can keep your stuff charged.
Exactly.
But do whatever you need to do. Like I said, and I know I'm joking, but I'm serious. You need to bring a barbecue pit out there. Bring a barbecue pit.
Yep. Bring some food.
Somebody,
definitely.
If you're industrious and you're trying to make that money, you need to have some food trucks around because people are going to get hungry. So all of you with food trucks, y'all have to vote anyway. Just go ahead and get those food trucks out to the voting places so people could eat.
Absolutely.
Because people are going to be hungry.
Be creative.
Just be creative. Be creative. That's how economies work. You have to learn how to be creative.
But most importantly, make your voice heard.
So
Producer Joe, where are we looking at on time? Because I do want to promote Thursday's show before we leave.
Go ahead, and you. Okay. Well, you went way over, so you can do whatever you want.
Okay, so guys, this is Sunday. So join us Thursday at our regular time. I am super stoked. I'm gonna have Mario Almanza is co-hosting with me. I am gonna have the owner and creative director of Sophisticated Bitch and King Dick clothing line, Jeffrey Taplin, is going to be in studio, and I am super stoked about this. I've known this cat for about 10 to 12 years, and the very first time that I met him, I'll tell you real quickly. I met him, and he had this afro, he had these dark glasses on and everything, and I told him, I said, "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but has anybody ever told you got like a Lenny Kravitz thing going on?" And he just started laughing. He was like, "Man, all the time." And from that little introduction, we've been friends for about 10 to 12 years. We don't talk regularly, because he has his clothes are at boutiques in LA and he's based in Houston. So he's like a really, really busy guy. But I messaged him one day. I told him I'm doing a podcast and everything, and I asked him to join me, and he just without any hesitation was like, absolutely. So I'm super stoked to hear him come on and discuss his clothing line and his inspiration. You know, what made him name it the name that he gave it, who inspired him, how it's been for him, especially during COVID and stuff like that. So I'm anxious to hear that. That's Thursday. That's this Thursday on the 27th. And then on the 31st, which is that Monday, I have another special guest. And Mario Almanza is also going to be partnering with me on that. The guy that I have on the 31st, on the 1st, the 31st, is the founder and creative director of Runway Houston. It is the only fashion show in Houston. And this guy I've known for probably about 10 years as well. Him and I used to work together at Express when I was a manager. He was one of my best people. And just to see him go from that to a realtor, a new father, and have the best fashion show in Houston, man, that's a lot. But I'm super stoked about having him because, like I said, both of my guests are good friends of mine. I've known them for years, but they're both doing so wonderful for the city of Houston, and they're putting on like really, really great things. So those are the next two shows. This Thursday we have Jeffrey Taplin, and then that following Monday, the 31st, we have Omar Marcos. So please, guys, tune in. Those shows are going to be absolutely fantastic shows, and I know I'm looking forward to it. I know Mario is, and Producer Joel, I know you're going to be looking forward to it because there's just going to be, you have to get your camera ready, and you're going to be taking like a shit ton of pictures.
Oh, I've got one of those little things where it automatically.
Yeah, but you got to cue that up when you cue everything else up because like I'm so excited about these two guests coming.
Okay, that's going to be on the next H-Town Spin coming up, and just to let you know, I am Producer Joel, but Producer Joel also has his own show, That Little Gay Talk Show, sponsored by Tuvi's Woodworking. Tuvi's Woodworking, you got wood. He's got wood. I'm sorry. So ask me about that on my show.
And when tell the audience when your show is on. Your show's on
my
Wednesday?
Shows. No, we record on Wednesday. My show's on every Thursday at gay time, and gay time means that could be anywhere between 4 and 9, depending on what's going on that day. Because I sometimes have guests on the show who have all kinds of weird schedules. Sometimes I do the show on Wednesday, and I pre-record on Wednesday and then put it out on Thursday. And then sometimes I have to do it on a Thursday and have to put it out a little later. That's why I said gay time, between 4 and 9. But there are always new episodes. We try to do a new episode every Thursday, so you can almost always count on a Thursday episode. Like I said, today we did a Sunday show for him. Sometimes I have to do a Friday show too. So it's what podcasting is. We try to put out a show every week, but life is happening all around us right now, and sometimes things just don't work out the way you want to, but we always try to put out a show. So we're going to end this episode, and this was the H-Town Spin. Your host was Mr. John Floyd. Producer is also John Floyd and Joel Tatum, and we thank you for being on the show.
You guys take care, have a great night, and we'll see you on Thursday.
All right, have a great night.